I'm gonna have to make sure that I pronounce that correctly, Vamsi. But welcome to Bold Conscious Connections. We've known each other for a few years at our different masterminds and other groups that we belong to, and and all the work that you've done transitioning from corporate to, you know, becoming an entrepreneur, and now you've been coaching leaders, now hundreds of them from many major organizations, and I'm not going to say them here uh, on this podcast, but I'll put them in the show notes. So you have decided a few years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, that you're not a typical executive or career coach or life coach. So why don't we begin by first saying welcome to you, Vamsi, to Bold Conscious Connections again. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Raju. Great to be here. I still remember our first interaction several years ago, maybe 2019 or
Yes,
2018. That was, I think, a date with destiny or business mastery from Tony
I think it
Robbins
was Business
and
Mastery, Tony
business
Robbins.
mastery.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That was just like yesterday, right? Time
yes,
went really
exactly.
fast.
And then there was a blur called COVID in between. But I
Exactly.
saw you
Yeah.
again at one of Brendan's events. I think it was San Diego or
Correct.
someplace. Yeah.
That is where I got really excited because until that point, I never saw, especially people from India who's going
Hmm.
for personal growth conferences back to
Yeah.
back.
Wow.
And I saw you second time or maybe third time in Brendan's event. I felt like I think Raju is like me. I definitely wanted to be in touch with, and here we are.
Well, and then we tried to connect during COVID in India, if I remember correctly, when I launched there. Okay.
Exactly. I supposed to come and you stuck there. I went to India. I was able to escape from that
Escape, and I
the last
didn't.
minute flight. That
Oh
was the
my
last
God.
flight from India to US.
That's right. And I was on the first flight out. That was evacuation. So it's just crazy times. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about, as you say, you're different. Tell us first of all what's guided you to be here, to unlock people's full potential, etc., helping them do that. And let's go back to who Vamsi was before that.
Sure, sure. So, little background about me. I'm originally from India, you know that,
Mhm.
and I came from very humble beginnings. I was almost like until my 12th grade, I was in Telugu medium student. English was not even my second language. English was my third language,
Mhm.
and suddenly I got into IT, Raju. For I think like maybe it's something in life, things happen for a reason. I don't know why that happened to me. I jumped into IT, and I fell in love with the programming. I fell in love with like everything in the IT. I stayed there for some time, and I went to Singapore. From Singapore, I came to US almost. Today is January 31st. Today is my 20 years anniversary in the US.
Oh
Wow,
wow!
I did not even,
Congratulations.
yeah, recollect until now. I was
Right.
thinking about this like a couple of days ago. 31st was the day I landed in the US,
Uh,
2005 from Singapore. And yeah, here I am. And if you ask me, like, who is Vamsi behind the scenes when I'm not coaching, when I'm like not like I was not doing programming, I was always a dreamer,
mm,
and I was always a great storyteller since my childhood. I always used to see the things that not many people are seeing and show them what I saw in terms of stories, in terms of like maybe my writings. So I was that person, and that I think like maybe helped me to create everything in my life.
mm. So explore that a little bit more, Ramsey. When you say storytelling and writing, were you writing in your language for people who understood Telugu or whatever the language you spoke besides English?
Absolutely, absolutely. Storytelling was my, I think, one of the core things. If I
Mm-hmm.
dig deep into that, since
Mm-hmm.
I was very young, I used to tell like stories. One thing I wanted to share, I think maybe I was in fourth grade or fifth grade, and one of my neighbors' family they went to vacation to visit
Mm-hmm.
Bengal,
Mm-hmm.
West Bengal. It's a Calcutta, the city, one of
Which
the
is the capital?
metropolitan
Yeah.
cities
Mm-hmm.
in India. And I did not go there, but they came back and they just shared about their experience. The next weekend, I was telling all of my friends about what Calcutta city is, and
Mm.
everybody thought like I was there for that with them, and that was the storytelling, right? So I was reflecting on that. So whatever I saw, I clearly saw that. Fun fact:
Hmm.
2 years ago, me and my entire family went to Calcutta to for
Mm,
the very first time in our life. And the city, the way I described almost like maybe 30 years ago when I was younger, it's exactly like that.
mm.
And I fell in like almost like a tears came out from my.
Wow.
I did not go there before, but I saw in my visualization,
Mm,
and I saw that like many times in that journey. Yeah.
beautiful. So who is Vamsi again in a different context? Who is he really? Not about what you've done in your life and who you're married to, etc. But who is he at the core?
At the core, always like a seeking for growth, always
Hmm.
seeking for improvements, always seeking for there is more that I think every person should get into.
Hmm.
So I see the possibilities that many people are not even like looking right now.
Hmm.
And I see why not these people are not stepping into their highest self and try to help them to get there faster.
So what about that makes you unique and saying, I can help them? I mean, they want to be helped or they need help. If they ask for help, only then can you help them. But why do you think first? Why is the phenomena such that people don't seem to seek help or to accelerate growth through the work you and I do, coaching? Uh, and why is that? Is it just the level of where we are? What's the reason? And then why
Right.
you?
So many, I think like all of us, we all born equally uh, really with all the equipment, but most of the time we are settling with very small things. And we have a supercomputer, this is between our
Our
ears,
years, yeah.
but unfortunately there is no user manual for that supercomputer.
Hmm.
And we are trying to use our input always like determines our output.
Sure.
Whatever the input that we are giving it, that's exactly what we are going to be getting out from that. And yeah, I experienced this firsthand, Raju, in my life several times. The moment I started changing my input, my output, my results, my performance, everything started changing for me.
Hmm.
And I felt like why I'm not sharing this magic sauce, this formula with other people. And I started doing this with my very very close friends, and they started noticing the results.
Hmm.
And at that point I thought like I wanted to be doing more of this with my time in this planet, and I started doing
Sure.
that.
Good. Well, you almost sound like the guy, my other mentor, Sadhguru, who he said, "Yeah, we don't have a user manual for life." So yeah. So I guess I'll give him credit for that one too. So
Absolutely.
you know, life's bring there are always turning points in our lives that bring us to where we are in the moment. Now you could have another turning point tomorrow to go somewhere else or do other things. What was it for you that you came from Singapore? You had the job, etc. But again, that's again in the context of doing things in life. But just yes, there's a turning point. You must have had many more than one. But let's talk about one or two.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, many turning points in my life. Even just this week, I had one turning point. But I wanted to share about one major, I would say.
Hmm.
We all have majors and minors. The
Sure.
major one, Raju, is me quitting my job
Hmm.
and quitting my job and going into something that I believe that maybe I wanted to be doing, and that is the reason that I'm here in this term, is the biggest turning point. I wanted to share a couple of things happened around that time
Hmm.
that will help. I think whoever is maybe thinking about you wanted to transition into a new job, maybe you wanted to seek your calling. That the very very first thing I realized, my job in the corporate was very very comfortable.
Hmm.
I was there in that company for almost 15 years, and
Yes.
I was getting paid well. I was getting
Sure.
like a lot of recognition from the management and all the leaders in the organizations. I was in a path to become really in a big position. So there is nothing wrong with the corporate. I did not
Yes.
quit job because it was painful. I was
That's right.
truly enjoying it, but at the same time, I asked myself. Why I'm wasting my time just serving maybe people who are within these four walls? Why can't I expand myself doing it outside? I started i started my coaching business on the side,
Hmm.
and at the time I was really really getting creating results for my clients, Raju.
Yeah.
Ask myself, what is that like a 20% of the work that I'm doing that is giving me the most satisfaction?
Yes.
And I reflected back for a couple of weeks, couple of months, and I noticed that the maximum satisfaction I'm getting it from my coaching, not from my career.
Correct.
And also ask myself, where am I putting my heart and full effort? Until I started my business, I was putting everything, every ounce of energy that I had towards my corporate career.
Sure.
The moment I started my coaching journey, I started putting like 50% of my effort into corporate and maybe the remaining all into my coaching. But I was still making the same results, getting that from the corporate.
Hmm.
And I asked myself, like, I think I'm kidding myself. Why I'm not like really honest with myself, because I'm not giving my 100% to
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 the
the
company.
job,
Hmm.
and nobody's noticing it.
Yeah.
Not like maybe single person came and say, hey Vamsi, you're not that present. Nobody, even if I stayed there for 5 more years, nobody would have noticed that
Yeah.
because I created that thing. But I know when nobody's watching, I'm asking myself, am I really doing the right
Hmm.
thing? And the answer is
Yeah.
no. So I can't teach somebody what I'm not doing. And at the time I just
Exactly.
quit my job. And everyone around me had said like, Vamsi, you are making a biggest mistake of your life.
Sure.
You are right in the path to become somebody in the corporate. And at the same time, Raju, my wife got diagnosed with cancer
Oh my
exactly the
God.
same weekend.
Mm.
And
So sorry.
so many things going on, and every single thing I took it, I think God is trying to test me,
Hmm.
test my will, test uh, my path.
Sure.
And my wife also, I'm super grateful, she supported me. She said like, I think I have full confidence and go for it. And I was the only one bread maker at home,
Hmm.
two kids, wife, and we don't know what's the medical conditions here in this country, how
Sure.
much it's going to be. Is it like 100,000, 200,000? No idea. But I just like said, no, I'm done with this, and I went all in. I think that's like biggest, pivotal moments.
Beautiful.
I could say.
Well, thank you for sharing that because I have a similar story, right? Because
Yes,
um,
yeah,
so it's just that. So you just preempted my question. So already answered that. But so did you have the support of your family and wife? So clearly you said you did, and it didn't matter perhaps where your next mortgage was going to come from. Maybe that wasn't so bad for you, but it can be anything, right? So but and I was going to say, how did you work through it? And I think what you've just said is it's a support that makes us make it, right? So but something inside of you while you had the side hustle told you that your alignment was in a different direction, right? So and so you followed your hunch, if you will, or actually more than hunch. It was real for you. I suppose that came from making the impact with the leaders you were working with, or what types of people were with you in the very beginning who wanted your coaching, if you will.
absolutely. In the beginning, I had no idea how to run a business. I had no idea like how I can make this as a full time
Mhm.
living. The only reason that I started coaching, Raju, was I was spending more than what I'm making from my corporate job on my personal growth.
Got it.
So pretty
That
much
was
every
your
month
that was
after.
your sort of benchmark to say, okay, if I can over cross that
Exactly.
hurdle,
Yeah.
I'll be
Right.
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So my goal initially was when I was in the corporate, I'm making X number of dollars, but I'm spending almost X plus two, X plus three
Yes.
on my personal growth. And I wanted to balance that out. At least, like, I wanted to start something sharing. That is where I started feeling that this is more than making money. This is
Yes.
more than an opportunity to change somebody's life, change
Hmm.
somebody's, like, not just one person's life, the entire generation's life. And
Right.
those things like really really stuck in me. And once you are 100% committed, universe is going to be supporting your journey.
Yeah.
I think like that's exactly what happened. I said like, I'm going to go all in.
Yes.
I'm not going to be looking back 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Do I need to go back to corporate? Not even single time I had a thought of going back to corporate.
Right. That's
That
great.
was, I think, like I'm super grateful for that alignment.
Well, two
Yeah,
things I've noticed you post about this, and I think so do I. You know, you spend X hundred, whatever, $500,000 or more on your personal growth, and because I'm much older than you, I've probably spent over a million, 42 years running.
right,
Every single year,
right.
you know, and you know, we spend a lot of money on the business mastery and other things. So because we are so focused on growth, you might borrow money to go into a thing because your growth is super important. So on that, and the other thing you said is there is no such thing as 90% commitment. It's 100% or nothing, right? So
Yep.
90 equals 100, 90 equals zero. so so I know that, you know that. Can you explain that to our listeners who are sitting on the fence probably?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just an example, I think like stories will stick in your mind.
Yeah.
Let's say you're going on, you went to a big mall, Raju, and there are like maybe other five, six, maybe thousand people in the mall walking along with you. Somebody from very far, they call Raju.
Yeah.
Do you immediately turn it
Turn
back,
around.
turn
Yeah.
your head? Absolutely, right? Because every cell in your body believes that you are Raju.
Hmm.
If we bring the same certainty towards the anything that we are doing, that's there is no way that you're going to be missing that.
Yeah.
If there is like a 90% chance that maybe you are in, but the 10% that's doubt, this uncertainty that is like still in your mind, chances of you're going to be dropping the ball. One
Yeah.
other example I wanted to share is, let's say, are you vegetarian or non-vegetarian?
I'm kind of mixed. I don't. Yeah.
Mix. Okay,
Certainly.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's say like somebody is pure vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they never touch meat, and when somebody invite them for a dinner,
Yeah.
and they say like, "Hey, do you wanted to taste some chicken?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to say, "I'm going to be I'm vegetarian. I don't eat non-vegetarian at all. I
Right.
don't eat meat."
Mm-hmm.
Whereas somebody 90% committed, you know what, today is Friday, I'm not supposed to be eating chicken
That's
today.
right.
And they say, if I ask one more time, hey, this is like a best chicken I ever made.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
think you should try. The person mind
Sure.
will say, I think go and try,
That's
right?
right.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a 90% commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas 100%, it's the same with the smoker, same with the alcoholic,
Absolutely.
anything. Yeah, it's same in the career as well.
Yeah. So it's you know, we probably gone to the same types of people like Tony. We know we have, and so does Brendan. But others, I think the what you just said is if you don't burn the boats behind you, you're gonna you think you have a, let's say, a job back there you can always go back to. If you begin with that, chances are you will never be all in to whatever you want to pursue, right? So that's the point. And you did that, I did that because we didn't ever look back. So and it's not easy. That's the first thing, right? It is not easy
Mm.
because there is always a temptation, somebody offering you a job, somebody offering you something. uh, that is not to say you wouldn't do consulting. That's okay because that's on your own. But getting that paycheck again, that there's comfort in that paycheck, right? So can you speak to that a little bit? If you you know, when you were in your technology roles, for example, were this was there initially a comfort like, okay, I have these skills, I can easily transition them to my business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I call this high income skills,
Hmm.
Raju. This is I think like we are so aligned. The current education system is not helping kids, not helping anyone to acquire these high income skills.
Yes.
Most of the people they think like in order for me to succeed in my life, I need to get a PhD, I need to get MBA, I need to be
Right.
X, Y, and Z, right?
Yep.
Whereas you can start whoever that like uh, wherever that you are in your career. Well, maybe you're a manager, you're just getting started, or maybe you have a big 2,000-person team. Always ask yourself, how am I communicating with other people?
Right.
On scale of 1 to 10, how do I rate myself on communication? And how am I looking on the my visibility part? Always visibility is profitability.
Hmm.
No, we don't
Beautiful.
buy anything on Amazon which is like maybe less than $100. Even less than $100, you look for reviews like maybe at least
Sure.
couple of minutes.
That's
Some
right.
of them they are too obsessed, they look for like maybe 2 hours for reviews and they buy the product. But most of the professionals right now in the marketplace, they're getting paid $100,000 or more.
Yeah.
if you are reading 2 hours, like maybe spending 2 minutes on reviewing something for maybe $100 product, what about you?
Yeah.
You're definitely more than $100, and you need to be start building that, the visibility on any platform that you have. LinkedIn is one. Maybe you can start creating the podcast, or you
Mhm.
could be a thought leader. There are
Right.
so many ways, and the things that used to work back in maybe 90s 2000,
Yeah.
unfortunately no longer and will never work, especially with all the deep seeks and the chat gpts, and
That's
so
right.
many things are going on in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'd say also that this is probably the most amazing time in the world for somebody to take the step and not feel like, you know, not feel certain in their heart that, oh my God, I'm going to make this work. Whether I use these other tools or not, I'm going forward, because you today, it's about the individual who shines their gifts and brings that ripple effect, as you were talking about earlier, to the world, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And the
So I want to, yeah, go ahead.
biggest problem that I'm seeing, most of the people, they don't know exactly what they want.
Yes, exactly.
That's the problem.
So I have three questions around the idea of, you know, being corporate leader going into or you transitioning to conscious coaching for you, but also in the context of what the world looks like today. So, you know, many people stay in corporate because they think they're really good at it, right? That's fine. They don't realize that the corporate itself is experiencing significant change around it, and constantly is challenged to keep up, you know, with competition, or even if they use a blue ocean strategy, they really want to excel, right? So one is, what is the hardest part for you that was walking away? You described that, but these people don't leave because of something, because they think they're good at it. That's the first. The second is, because you work with high achievers, so you know they have some big blind spots. So if you can talk to that blind spot that you often see that successful executives struggle with, and then the most powerful transformation that you have witnessed in someone you have
Mm.
coached. So it's a one question going into three parts, but I can remind you if you want to try.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
The biggest challenge that I notice in this, in the current corporate world is golden handcuffs,
Mm-hmm.
and they are living the life they're thinking that's like maybe the best life, but they're putting themselves into the jail of like unnecessary things. So let's say I wanted to buy a $2 million home, because I don't need $2 million home, because somebody in my circle they bought it. I wanted to show them that I can too.
Mm-hmm.
By buying $2 million home, you're pretty much locking yourself for the next 15 years of your life to pay that home,
Yeah.
versus maybe all you need is like, maybe 2 days in that $2 million home, and the remaining time you wanted to spend some time in uh, wherever that you wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
The freedom, that's exactly like what is missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people got addicted with the titles.
Yeah.
I'm the
Of course.
manager, I'm the director, I'm the chief of this, and every single thing is temporary.
Yeah.
All the benefits that you are getting right now from your corporate, maybe all the bells and whistles that you have, the five-star hotels, the first class airline tickets, everything is temporary, but what is permanent is who you are becoming.
Yeah.
And that is the missing piece. Many people, they're just looking at the external thing, they're looking at external results, versus like they're mastering that inner core
Sure.
that we believe in. That is the most important thing.
Mhm. So you've captured all three, you think, in this?
uh, Maybe you can prompt
Talk,
me, and I
talk
will
talk
give you.
about talk about something, a powerful transformation that you witnessed personally in somebody, because they didn't know they were in that blind spot, like you just described. Do you have a story without naming the
Absolutely,
person, like,
absolutely.
wow, that person really did it?
Yeah, there are like so many transformations that I witnessed. That also tells me I think I need to be doing more and more of. One, somebody, they never thought they're going to be a leader in the organization,
Right.
because they came from the similar background with English not being their first language.
Uh-huh.
And the same person who transformed within like maybe less than 6 months, and became an author, became a speaker. Now that person recently, like, he got into the billboard of Times Square because
Wow.
of his work.
That's
Now
awesome.
everything happened in like in about 6 months. Now the person is getting invited on speaking on many stages. Did I do anything? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
Just like everything what that person experienced is already inside of him. We just reminded that you are that person. That's all.
Mhm.
And those kind of stories, like always, like
Sure.
help me to see. I think I wanted to be doing 1,000 more of this year,
That's right.
10,000 more of this year, because the moment we start enabling leaders, Raju, that's reason I think
Yeah,
our work is so important. They are the
absolutely.
ones going to be creating ripple effects in
Yeah,
our communities and the industry.
absolutely, man. This is what my heart is. That's why I reached out to you. I go, we talk similar language, story, etc. I go,
Exactly.
this is something that we could share with the world, and whatever and whoever's listening, even if it's one person out of the thousands that potentially listen to this, if we make that impact, it's a ripple effect that you're creating by sharing that with others. Okay, so I'm going to shift to, because everything is mindset. It's about the mindset of what it means to be bold. The example you gave, like if that person had it inside of him, you were just simply the medium to bring it out, right? So,
Hmm.
yes, we don't do anything, but we cause that to occur because it's the law of the universe. If you are lighting your fire within you and you're able to recognize that you have something unique, then put it out there, right? And you can have all the fears around it, but you make that first step, and it can actually can completely unleash you. So, in the mindset category, you help leaders achieve. You talk about it in the 10-year goals in 1 year, accelerate
Mm.
10 into 1 year, right? What is the biggest shift that they need to make for that to be possible? Like this person did it in 6 months. What is it about? Either it's your methodology or is it, I don't know, techniques? Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely. Very, very first thing that I help people to, uh, when somebody I'm coaching or helping them to create those transformation, I ask everyone to slow down first. Everyone is running at 100 miles an hour speed, and they're
mhm,
thinking, "Hey, I wanted to go even faster."
right.
So it's almost like you are, climbing the mountain, but like you're realizing that that's not the mountain that you wanted to climb. And I ask everyone to just like a slow down first, and once they slow down they start seeing their they collect a inventory of the things that are happening in their world. The moment they notice
Mhm,
that, you know what, I'm putting all my focus on wrong areas right now,
mhm,
then once they understand that, I ask them to create their long term plan. Most of the
mhm.
people, they're playing the short term.
Yeah,
They're working 70 hours a week and ask like, why you are working 7? Because I wanted to become a director. That's all. That's all. 70 hours to just become a director. What is after that? I don't know. That's my
exactly.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I help them to create like their 10-year vision. Like, where do you want it to be? I
Mhm,
ask a couple of powerful questions. How old you are going to be 10 years from now?
mhm,
How about your kids? And the moment they start reflecting back, that is where they get like real transformation. You know
mhm.
what? Like in 10 years, I'm going to be 60. Wow, my kids are gone. I never spent time with my kids, right? Because I was one of them. When my kids were younger, I was like
Me
running
too.
the corporate race, and I have
Yep.
no really good memories of like, crawling with them, playing with them,
That's
all
right.
those things. That biggest regret. Right now,
Mhm.
they're 15 and 17 now. If I say, hey, can we go and crawl? They said like, what's wrong with you? Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot have my 26-year-old crawl with me. I know the feeling.
Right, right.
So, do you have a certain type of clientele that you attract or want to attract?
Yeah. In the beginning of my career, I used to work with everyone. Recently, last 2 years, I also like slow down a little bit.
Mhm.
I let go of my 80% of like the clients that I was serving,
Oh, okay.
and I just like slow down a little bit and ask myself like, what is something that I can do it at a scale and also create like a massive impact. So in the last 2 years, me and I have two other business partners. We are
Mhm.
serving uh, people who came from India and
Mhm.
living in the US. And most of them are working in the IT background.
Yes.
The reason is like I spent like almost 23 years in the IT, and my business partner spent almost the same time.
Mhm.
We know exactly like what is happening in the IT industry, and also we climbed that mountain. We know
Sure.
what are the things, and
Yeah.
also yeah. So
Mhm.
the current market that we are serving is people who are living in the US but originally
From India.
born in India and migrated to US.
So you talk about integrating Eastern philosophy. You mentioned that into your leadership. Is there one key principle from our Eastern culture that doesn't exist in the Western culture? Since you're coaching people in the U.S. or away from India.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nowadays it's not even like it's not even normal in India.
Hmm.
uh, you in India also almost like becoming it's more even faster than the Western nowadays. It's all
It's
about
a
like a
rat race,
slowing.
right? You're just trying to keep up
Yeah,
with what the Americans are doing.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a, first slow down a little bit and ask yourself what is that like ultimate game that you wanted to be playing.
Hmm.
And if you are, let's say if God comes to you and say, Raju, Vamsi, I'm gifting you 15 more years of life, where
Yeah.
would you like to have that life?
Right.
Is that like towards the end or right now?
Yeah.
And start acting from that moment. Let's say you have
Absolutely.
next 15 years, and is this 15 years that you really wanted to take care of the temple that you have, the body,
Right.
right?
Right.
And the mind that is like driving this body and creating the results.
Yeah.
And that's I think like the shift that I wanted to
Bring
help. It's
about
not
in
about
people.
running fast, it's about like walking down and enjoying that, giving a high five, feeding the birds in the
That's right.
morning, just like walk without shoes
Yes.
in the garden.
Right. Exactly. Well, very powerful. That's we know that all that exists for a reason, and we just look elsewhere for the satisfaction. So uh, I do this exercise in one of my couple of early sessions. Have my clients write a eulogy, which is similar
Mm,
to what you're describing. Like 15 years from now, I mean, not that they're going to be dying in 15 years, but whatever it is, you know, today's your death day, and you're looking at your body. It's about to be either cremated or buried. What are you telling it? And so, all these things come out. I spent a lot of time in the hospice when my wife was stage 4, just to talk to other people to see where they are, and everything is about regrets, right? They don't ever talk about all the things they did well. They always talk about things they didn't do. So I
mm,
think to your point, it's about doing that today, not waiting, right? So
absolutely.
how do you personally navigate this kind of uncertainty? I'm sure we're all faced with it, and any big decisions that you need to make.
Yeah, it's like a muzzle.
Hmm.
Every single day we have an opportunity to stay in the comfort zone or step into that combat zone and
Right.
fight. It could be something, taking the cold shower in the morning. Every cell in your body feels like, hey, it's so too cold outside, don't go for it. But
Hmm.
the moment we go against that, we are creating something, that muzzle inside of us.
Yeah.
And those small things will help us to make a bigger decisions.
Right.
And
Right.
it's not just an accident. I think like maybe a couple of things that I used to do in the past that helped me when I was quitting my job also make that decision pretty easy for me. I did
Hmm.
not overthink it because
Yeah.
it's not overnight thing. Conditioned myself for like several, maybe
Right.
almost a decade at that point.
Right. Right. So I know you're a 5 a.m. club member, if you will. You do all these practices. So just talk. What can you share that's a daily practice or a mindset shift that you make every day that has made the biggest difference for you in your life?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is the day starts before the night.
Sure.
You can start this ritual. You can, before going to bed, write down three things that you wanted to be winning tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Just three things.
Yeah.
And that simple it is. Our subconscious mind is pretty much like going to be working all night. This is also one of the lessons that I learned from like maybe many mentors. uh, don't go to bed without giving something to your subconscious mind,
Yes.
because that's like a supercomputer. You are just like wasting your subconscious power.
That's
uh,
right.
Whatever that you wanted next day, just give it, and by the time you get there, it's almost done. And
Mm-hmm.
you just go and execute it and do that. One
Right.
other thing that I've been like doing it for almost like a 7 8 years now is spending some time on my journal,
Mm-hmm.
writing it down, whatever that are going on in my mind. and what is something sometimes that conversation, it's almost like I feel like journaling is a form of meditation
For
for
sure.
me, and every single time I put it, I'm getting more clarity, more happiness,
Right.
uh, the direction. Yeah, those are the things. It's not about I do so many other things as well, like I go for high intensity
Sure.
workouts, and
Yeah.
those are like a secondary. But before going to bed, give yourself like what are the three things that you're going to be winning,
Hmm.
and doing that. And also one other thing that I do, it's just before going to bed, what are the three big wins that happened that day, and
Uh-huh.
who are the people that I'm grateful for
Right.
that night. These are like a pretty basic things.
Yeah.
Never go to bed with on angry with anyone. Never go to
That's right.
bed with a
Of
gap
course.
mentality. Oh, I did not have this.
Hmm.
Just always go with the gain, so that way you feel full inside, because we don't know
Hmm.
tomorrow we are going to be getting up or not, right?
That's right.
So we don't want
Exactly.
to go
Yeah.
with that gap.
It's just funny how we all think that we're going to get up in the morning the next day. So, yes, I think these are very powerful and they may be basic, but hey, we all know that common sense is not common practice either. So, while it sounds basic, does anyone do it? That's the question. So, that's really, really powerful there, Vamsi. I hope you have some time for rapid fire.
Sure.
So many questions I have, but I'm going to have to like compress them in this quick
Let's
fire.
go.
Okay. Okay. All right. First word that comes to mind when you hear corporate life.
Rat race.
Okay. One book that shaped how you see leadership today.
The monk who sold his Ferrari.
Love that book. Love that book. Uh, what's a belief about success you've had to unlearn?
uh, Once I get that, I'm going to be good.
Mm, the what if mentality, right? Or
Yep.
sorry, when, if
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
that, or when I have that, I will
Yep.
do
I'll
X, Y,
be
and
I'll
Z.
be I'll be happy. I'll be
Happy.
good. I'll be,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll quit my job when I have $1 million in the bank or $X million in the bank. It's
Exactly. I go
crazy.
to gym when I get six pack abs.
That's right. They say that 80% of the abs are made in the kitchen. So I will start doing that first before I go to the gym. Okay, great.
Exactly.
Okay. What's a personal habit that keeps you grounded? I think you mentioned journaling. Is there anything you want to
Journaling.
add?
Yeah. Journaling and giving myself some thinking time.
Right. Okay. If you could give your, well, you've had this question before. If you could give your 20-year-old self one sentence of advice, what would that be?
Couple of things. Protect your mind, because whatever that you are telling yourself and nobody's watching is what you're going to be getting out from your life. Bet on yourself. We all bet on like other people, we all bet on politicians, the sports stars and the teams. Bet on yourself, and be intentional who you are spending time with. Your proximity is your superpower.
Exactly. Connect with the right people, man. Okay. So along those lines, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Hmm. The best advice that ever received, that's a powerful question. I got so many advices. uh, you know, everything is temporary.
Mm,
Everything is
okay.
temporary. This is, I think, like maybe spiritual,
Yeah.
gurus or yogis. When I was reading that, so don't get attached to anything.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. What's the worst advice you ever received?
You're asking all powerful questions, Raju. I love it. I love this conversation. The worst advice I ever received. Hmm. Money is going to make you happy.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So you could have dinner with anyone in the world, past, present, future, not future, but dead or alive. Who would it be?
I think first I will have a dinner with you. We met so many times, but we did not have a chance to spend some time. And in my mind, every human being is a god in front of you. They wanted to share something, and maybe if I'm get an opportunity sometime, we'll have a really, really long
That's
dinner conversation. I'm
that's not
super
complicated. That's easy to
ready.
do. You're a
Yeah.
couple hours away. Uh, what I meant was, obviously some big leader you look up to. I cannot make that cut.
Yeah, I think
So.
I'll go with people like Steve Jobs and
Yeah.
Elon Musk. The
Hmm.
reason, not just because to seek anything from the technology side, seek anything from the business side, I strongly believe in their the vibration and the frequency they are in.
Hmm.
Even I'm not talking with Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, if I'm in the same,
As
maybe couple of,
personalities, you mean they have
yeah,
a vibration that's different and unique
in their aura.
in
Yeah.
their aura. Exactly. Awesome. And this is not a great question to end on, but hey, I will anyway. If everything you've built disappeared overnight, what's the first thing you would do?
If everything built or disappeared overnight, I think I feel, first of all, I feel happy.
Mhm.
I feel happy, and I'll spend like maybe uh, a, a month on journaling on what do I really want. I may or may not build anything.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Vamsi. That's a great way to end. And you probably watched me ask the question: is there anything based in the vein of gratitude and what you've been talking about? I'm very grateful for, and I'm sure my audience listening to this got so much out of this conversation. And it's when you go back to watch it or listen to it that you go, oh my god, I didn't even know that's something that came out. What in the last 40 minutes is there something that you would have discovered about you or about anything?
The conversations that we are having are really, really powerful conversations.
Mm,
And I'm not answering you, I'm answering my subconscious. uh,
mm,
i'm i'm um, I'm telling my subconscious this is the reason that why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm super grateful that you gave me an opportunity to reflect back on what's going on in my mind. This came with like no preparation, nothing, because they're good friends and I wanted to have a conversation with a friend, open heart, and I felt,
mm.
yeah, really, really good in this 45 minutes.
Well, I do it for that reason because whoever is listening, whoever ever listens in the future, hopefully they got something out of our conversation, and certainly you here are at center stage, so it's your platform to share. Is there anything last minute you wanted to end with for them?
No, just keep start before you are ready. That's my
Mhm.
recommendation for whoever is watching right now. Start before you are ready. Don't wait for perfect moment, perfect opportunity, perfect conditions out there. The moment you start, everything is going to be okay. And also remember, everything is going to be temporary. The pain, the pleasure, all the things are temporary. Keep
Mhm.
moving. That's all.
Well, I appreciate this incredibly philosophical conversation, my friend. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Vamsi. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you. That was awesome. Awesome, Vamsi.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
good.